What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker, and today we have the honor and privilege of being joined by the icon, Bootsy. Thank you for coming through, sir.
Oh, man, thanks for having me, man. I'm just glad to be here, ready to throw down with whatever we're throwing up.
Hey, man, that's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
Now you have the new album of the year, #1 Funkateer, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
One of the things I remember before I listened to it, I just remember #1 Funkateer is an old song title from back in the days.
Yeah, well, that was like, I kind of named the group of people that was following the funk, and they were Funkateers, So it was rubber fans, because we had the Bootsy's rubber band. So it was like the rubber fans and Funkateers, So, I just went back and grabbed, actually we've been using Funkateers ever since, So I just wanted to make an update with the album, that people didn't know about it, that's new, Funkateers.
Yes, and on the title track, the first song, you go right into it also using a familiar bass line that people might recognize. So how and why did you decide, not only with the title, but some of the music, to incorporate some elements from your classic material?
Well, I actually did that because I knew that the old Funkateers would relate to it, and I didn't want to get too new on them and make them feel like I was leaving them behind and going all the way with the new. So for me, it was more like the new people that didn't know about Funkateers, I had to say it so they understand, okay, I'm a Funkateer now. Right. So, it's kind of like merging both the young and the older Funkateers together, without saying actually what you're doing, Yeah. And I feel it's important that, people know that we can work together and we don't have to dog each other. The whole album is based on that, bringing people together and letting people know that no one person is the one. It's always all the people making up the one. And that's what this whole album is about, letting everybody know that we all make up the one. I'm not the one, she's not the one. We all are. If, I put it like this, if you want to play, why would I want to play for you if you didn't want to play too?
It's got to be a two-way street.
It's got to be. And so I think people need to realize that, because we've been programmed to just want it for ourselves, which has been a cool concept. But the way things are going now, AI coming in and all this different stuff, we already, battling each other. Now we're going to have a real battle. And so, we should know that we can do all things together, all things, and so that's, to me, that's why this album is very important, not just musically, but consciously, just to let people know that you can be different, and a lot of us are different, and it's okay. And so, I just want people to embrace the okay part, because the rejection thing, we've had enough of that shit.
Yeah. As old as time itself.
Yeah.
and that being said, kind of blending the early part of your career with this part of your career, you came up obviously around bands, in bands, with your brother and different things, and now you're taking like the tables have turned, people are looking to you as the mentor role versus whether it was James Brown or whoever you were with early. What did you learn that you apply, and what you learned that you do not apply to what you're doing today?
Well, you don't tell people what to do. You don't preach about where you coming from and try to put that on somebody. You don't take your father and say, your father ain't no good because my father is the one. All that's incorrect. Everybody's father should be respected. you know, and that to me is what needs to be passed on because it hasn't been programmed. It's not in the program to look at things like that. You know, it's not in the program to embrace somebody different than you, somebody different than me. I dress different, so I'm not, you know, I'm not the one. How can you tell somebody they're not the one? I mean, you know, so all of that to me is time for, you know, that change, that kind of big change without coming to war again. You know, we don't really need to war. I mean, you know, what we need is love, and what we need is people to not even understand you. All we need is to stand by each other, you know. And I know that sounds corny, but I've been on both sides, and I'd rather be on this side, you know. And this side embraces everybody, and you know, to make somebody do something or to command somebody to do something, it's not the way. Music, you know, the music I do is not like that, you know. Or I'm shooting for the music to be, here it is. If you dig it, you got it. If you don't, then you won't.
Yeah. And with Album of the Year, #1 Funkateer, you also have the JB's tribute, speaking of paying homage.
Yeah.
And Daru Jones, a friend of mine, is on there on the percussion. I've interviewed him many times, hung out with him, been to his house, everything. And I wanted to get, because we haven't, in the era that I grew up in, there were plenty of musicians that we actually saw. Right. And that has kind of diminished, I would argue, largely. But Daru, I think, is one that stands out.
He's one that stands out.
He's one of the ones.
Yes.
So that being said, how and why did you find him and then want to put him on Album of the Year?
Well, with my situation, it's more like, I don't know if he found me or I found him. I think it's all in the universe. I think the universe picks what's for us and what's not. And, you know, we knew of each other, but we didn't know we was going to be making a record together like now. I mean, you know. And so when the opportunity came, it was like, you know, he went over to King's Records, and Kent, my man over there that, you know, that handles the King rebuilding and everything, he let him in there because Daru wanted to, you know, this James, you know, where did James Brown record this stuff that, you know, the funky drummer, you know, and Kent took him in there, and it was like he heard the room, they set up the drums, 3-piece drum set, and the sound was so incredible. Then Daru came out, because he was gigging in Cincinnati at the time.
Okay. He
came out and let me hear it. I was like, oh man, we gotta cut, because it reminded me that's where I recorded at, you know, before they destroyed it, is King Records. And so, you know, that's how we hooked up, you know, we hooked that track up, and then I was trying to figure out who would bring that message home about Clyde, because that's what I really wanted to, you know.
The funky drummer.
Yeah, the funky drummer.
Right.
And so it all, you know, it wasn't like a magical thing where I came up with this and, you know, that, and the other. It was like, that's something that I wanted to do, and the universe set it up.
You ask and you shall receive.
There you go. That's it, and that's true.
Yeah. And with that too, with the band element, because a lot of people kind of, it goes against what you and what the funk espouses of society and music. By definition, society affects our art, is that everything's become so much about ourselves as opposed to the unit.
The group, yeah.
And the groove. So what do you think, from what you've seen from a musical and a societal perspective, how and why has this happened? And then with music, what have we gained or lost from that?
Well, first of all, we lost the part of being able to play with each other. It's like us as kids, going out playing with each other. We totally lost that, and to blame it on somebody, that's what we got to stay away from,
Right.
because we are still evolving. Don't forget we got AI coming up.
Oh, it's here.
So, well, I mean, really, really coming up. I mean, we just getting a little dab of it right now.
Yeah.
But it's really getting ready to hit home where, we're going to second guess ourselves because we're going to be humans dealing with this magical thing that's taking over, and sadly, ain't too many of us going to embrace that, especially right now, because we're going through our own human thing, which music and what you talking about, the group thing, that's like fading, and the individual thing is growing, So ain't no way you're gonna stop that. Best thing we can do is embrace it as humans, and promote the groups that we, because it's all about your note, I'm a note, he's a note, and everybody ain't got the whole note, Each one of us is vehicles, and we notes, that has to be played. They're playing notes faster now, so fast, in fact, that it's like it looks incredible, but it's just the beginning. We just need to know who we are as notes, and the part that we got to play. All you got to do is do it, play it. Right. Just play it, and we're not going to stop the group. The group against the computer in the box. We're not going to stop that. So let's get our minds off of that, and it's more about what do you feel good about doing. And that's what we need to ask of the people, right. Because it's coming. Well, it's already here.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's already here. We just need to accept that and build off of that, instead of, knocking each other.